Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Tori. Today is Monday, May 22nd, 2023. And we begin with a 12-year-old girl saving the life of her twin brother, and the whole scene caught on tape. Amelia and Charlie Laverme were in the same cafeteria, but at different tables, at Leicester Middle School in Leicester, Massachusetts, a week ago, when Charlie began choking on a mozzarella stick. He was terrified and flailing, and while most of the kids near him either froze or ran away, Amelia didn't. Her twin intuition kicked in, she wrapped her arms around him from behind for the Heimlich maneuver and popped that stuck cheese out. Proud dad Jason hopes the story prompts other parents to teach their kids what to do in an emergency. They may tune it out, he said, but clearly something registered and Amelia recalled it when she needed it. Brother Charlie is grateful. He told CBS News, "I would just say thank you because I'm still here." Late last night, President Biden returned home from Japan and his meeting with the G7, which stands for the group of 7 largest economies in the world. The spotlight stealer, however, was a G7 outsider. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky flew in on a plane provided by France to make an in-person impassioned plea for more help fighting back against Russia. And he got it. Mr. Biden told reporters, "We've got Ukraine's back, and we're not going anywhere." Then pledged $375 million more in aid and agreed to train Ukrainian pilots on American F-16 jets. A famous American landmark is now doing nightly blackouts for birds. Most of the year, the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, Missouri, lights up after dark. But because the city sits beneath a major bird migration highway known as the Mississippi Flyway, park officials pull the plug for 2 weeks every May. This year, though, the Good News Network reports that the arch is going lightless for the entire month. The goal? To help keep 325 bird species from getting disoriented as they wing their way north during spring migration. The lights will flicker back on the evening of June 1st and fire up nightly until September, when the migration south begins. She's already the GOAT among space travelers, but Peggy Whitson isn't done yet. Yesterday, America's most experienced astronaut with 665 days in space, 3 stays aboard the International Space Station, and 10 spacewalks blasted off again, this time for private company Axiom. Joining her, 2 Saudi Arabian astronauts and retired businessman, race car driver, and adventurer John Schaffner, who says he was first bit by the space bug when he was 8 and who reportedly paid a princely sum to fly on this mission. Docking is expected at 9:24 this morning. The team will conduct dozens of research projects during their 10 days aboard the floating lab, but the most important involves getting Saudi kids excited about math and science. Many live space-to-school events are planned, including simultaneous experiments, like building a kite and comparing how one flies aboard the station in the absence of gravity with how one flies in a schoolyard on Earth. While money is seemingly no object for real space adventures, the same can't be said for fake space fun here on Earth. After only a year and a half, Disney World is closing the doors on its much-hyped, immersive Star Wars-themed hotel. The Galactic Starcruiser offered everything a franchise superfan could want: lightsabers, AI-driven droids, Star Wars costumes, and role-playing. But the out-of-this-world experience came with an out-of-this-world price tag: $6,000 for a family of 4 to stay for 2 nights. Apparently, few could afford it, and the hotel was rarely full. According to Cinema Blend, this isn't Disney's only high-profile failure, but it could be the biggest. The Starcruiser's final voyage is September 28th. In other KidNuz notes, the list of Republicans who want a shot at Democrat Joe Biden's job is getting longer. Today, Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina is expected to announce he's entering the race. And later this week, sources tell CNN that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will also jump in. They'll join 5 other Republicans who've already started jockeying for their party's nomination, including former President Donald Trump. That's it for KidNuz. Now, our KidNuz quiz. What life-saving technique did 12-year-old Amelia Laverme perform on her twin brother? The Heimlich maneuver. G7, the summit attended by President Biden and other world leaders over the weekend, stands for what? The group of 7 biggest economies in the world. Which high-priced Disney World attraction is closing for good after only a year and a half in operation? Its Star Wars-themed hotel, the Galactic Starcruiser. What famous American landmark is going dark for all of May to help the spring migration of birds? The Gateway Arch in St. Louis, Missouri. In today's KidNuz Kicker, a little history on the arch and what it represents. The monument was built in the 1960s to honor the cross-country expedition of explorers Lewis and Clark. The 2 men and their scouts began their journey in St. Louis in 1804 and documented their way west to the Pacific Ocean. President Thomas Jefferson is the one who requested the fact-finding mission and reportedly worried the group might encounter woolly mammoths and giant sloths. They didn't. Both were long extinct. But they did discover 100 new animal species, created maps, reported on the different geology, and established good relations with Native Americans. Today, the Gateway Arch attracts 1.5 million visitors every year. Before we go, we want to shout out our KidNuz teachers in their classrooms, including Mrs. Babcock and her Eagles at Eagle Point Elementary in Oakdale, Minnesota, Miss Brandt and her Silver Knights at Riverside Prep in Oro Grande, California, and Mrs. Ulrich, who is so proud of her students at Arredondo Elementary in Rosenberg, Texas, for completing the star. Go Jaguars! Thanks for listening. Please consider supporting your favorite podcast with a donation. You'll find a link on our website. We'll see you back here for more KidNuz tomorrow morning.